Good evening. I'm Dan Jennings, and this is your Blue Wave Report for January 3rd, 2019. While we have all been focused on the change of the leadership in the House, some things have been flying under your radar that you may not have known about. Drug makers have started the year off with a bang, hiking prices on more than 1,000 medications. These hikes average about 6%, or triple the current rate of inflation. One diabetes drug, metformin, has had its price raised by over 148% by its manufacturer, Granules Pharmaceutical. Prices for OxyContin and the blood thinner Pradaxa have risen by 9.5% and 8% respectively. And as of today, the Department of Defense is being run by a former Boeing executive, the EPA by a former coal lobbyist, the HHS by a former pharmaceutical lobbyist, the Department of Interior by a former oil industry lobbyist, and the Department of Education, well, we all know who's running that. The swamp, my friends, is truly overflowing. Also, just a reminder that it is now 2 weeks since the Violence Against Women Act was allowed to expire. Call your congressman, have him get this renewed. In both Virginia and South Carolina, legislation is currently being proposed that would begin the clock on a 2-year process to lead to a voter referendum that would end gerrymandering in those states. These bills are being voted on in the next week, so we need you to contact your state representatives to get their support for these bills. In Oklahoma, meanwhile, 2 bills being proposed would allow any adult not disqualified by law from purchasing or carrying a firearm to do so, concealed or unconcealed, loaded or unloaded, without the training and licenses currently required. We need to just say to no to this one. Also in Oklahoma, SB 13 is another anti-abortion bill that would define life as beginning at fertilization. And in Kentucky, Medicaid recipients get an unhappy new year as they are now hit with a $3 copay for most doctor's visits, as well as copays for dental and prescriptions. Exemptions include children, pregnant women, and some preventative services. While that may not seem like a burden, consider the fact that a clinic near Louisville reports about 4,500 of their patients are currently homeless. Hard to make that $3 when you don't even have a home. Now on to the shutdown. Federal workers, due to the individual one shutdown, are now not expected to see a paycheck until January 25th at the earliest. Today, Mitch McConnell said he will not bring to the floor a bill that, if passed by the House, had already been passed by the Senate 94-6, which would have reopened the government. 94% would be veto-proof, yet the majority leader refuses to allow a vote, kowtowing to individual one. On a related note, the federal government, however, somehow found the funds to reopen a bell tower in an individual one's property. Wonder how that happened. On to our first election watch of the year, Election Watch 2019. There will be a special election for state's 33rd district seat in Virginia on January 8, 2019. This district encompasses part of Fairfax and Loudoun counties, so please plan to vote and carpool with those who may not have a way to get to the polls. 2019 is important, people. Every ballot matters. Every ballot counts. Vote every time. Thank you to the following for information used in tonight's report: CBS News, the Portland Courier, Eric Lipton of the New York Times, the Richmond Times-Dispatch, and the Amp Courier-Journal. For the Blue Wave Report, I'm Dan Jennings, reminding you as always,
don't just comment, act. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.